Okay, today we are moving on to our second lesson of Systems, Chapter 6, and we are going to solve systems using a strategy called substitution. And what substitution means is exactly what it sounds like. You substitute one thing in for another. It's just like teachers. When teachers get substitutes, you take out one teacher, you put another teacher in. Okay, same concept. Substitution. We use substitution when graphing is hard to do. And then substitution involves algebra. So, substitution is plugging in a variable, plug-in variable into another variable of the opposite equation. Sounds confusing. Okay? Sounds very confusing. Now, if I said to graph this line, this would be very hard for you to do because most of the time I don't have -12 part of the scale. And your line is going to be skewed right away. So I'm going to teach you how to handle this situation. The first step you're going to do is put parentheses. So you need to box off this word. Parentheses is the key word in this first step. Put parentheses around the variable that is alone. That is the other important word for this step. Then you're going to plug it into the opposite variable. So plug in is another one you circle or cloud or something like that. And then the other variable. You solve it. You plug it back in where you put the parentheses. That's a lot of steps. You need to see it in action. Sometimes it makes more sense when you see it in action because that, to me, sounds very confusing. Okay, so my steps are just laid out in front of me, and I'm going to model how to handle this. All right, so we're going to solve this system through substitution. I first put parentheses around the variable that is by itself. Y is alone. I put parentheses on what y equals. Everybody do that. Put parentheses around what y equals. That was step 1. Step 2 is plug it in to the other variable. So where's my other y? My other y is at the bottom. This is going to go right there. Now I'm going to rewrite it. 3x minus 12 equals -2x plus 3. That's part of step 2. Now notice my y disappeared. It's just pretend that I am the y. And that what's inside parentheses is a substitute. When the substitute comes in for me, am I still here, standing awkwardly next to the substitute? No, I'm gone. The substitute came in and took over. Okay? So that's what's going on here. You should not have a y anymore. Now I solve. So I'm going to bring my 2x over. This is a -12. 5x. Oops. 3x plus 2x is 5x minus 12 equals 3 because that canceled out. Add 12. 5x equals 15. Divide by 5. X equals 3. I'm halfway done because a system is a point of intersection on a line. So when two lines intersect, if I have two lines intersect, I need to have an x value and a y value. So this 3 is my x. I'm only halfway done. Now I box off my 3 and I go back to where I put parentheses. So this 3 goes right there. Y then equals 3 times 3 minus 12. 9 minus 12, -3. So these two lines intersect at the point 3 be negative 3. Because a solution to a system of equations is where two lines intersect, and they intersect at a point, x and y. My x is 3, y is negative 3. Okay, we're going to do another one. I'm going to change this. All right, we're going to do another example. One of the best strategies I can recommend to 8th graders that are solving systems is right away make your final goal. Your final goal is a point. So I know that I'm going to have an x and a y. Step 1, put parentheses around the variable that's alone. Everybody put parentheses around the 3x. I put it around there because y is by itself. Now, I'm going to put this y, I'm going to substitute it in for the other one. So everybody look, where is the other y? Are you looking at it? Draw an arrow to it. That's my other y. Now's the day of substitution. So now I rewrite it. X plus, it's not y anymore. I got to substitute. It's 3x. X plus 3x equals negative 32. 1x plus 3x's is 4x equals negative 32. Divide by 4, divide by 4, x is negative 8. That's my x. I'm only halfway done. Now I need my y. So I go back to where I started. This goes back to where I started. Everybody look, where's the parentheses? Where did I start? There we go. Draw an arrow all the way back there. That's where that goes. So y equals 3 times negative 8. Negative 24. That is exactly, a negative 24 is exactly why we would solve this through substitution or algebra strategy. Because nobody's going to be given a graph with the ability to make negative 24 as part of your y-axis. It's just not logical. It will never happen to you. It usually goes to negative 10. So you definitely need to know the strategy. Remember, it's a point of intersection. It's two lines that cross paths. Okay, another one that I definitely wouldn't want to graph because y isn't alone and I'd have no idea how to graph it. Step 1, put parentheses around the variable that's by itself. Which one is by itself, y or x? Y is with x. Do you see? X is alone. It's alone because I have x equals something. So put parentheses around what x equals. Everybody put parentheses. X equals that. Now look, now you are going to look at the other x. All eyes, look at the other x. Are you looking? Are you looking at it? Put an arrow. That's where that's going. That's substituting in right there. So you put an arrow to that other x. Now I rewrite. It's 2 times x. But x got to substitute. X is this. Negative 3y plus 11. That's the 2x. Minus my y equals 1. Okay, now I'm going to solve. So I'm going to distribute. This is really a negative y. Now I'm going to combine like terms. Negative 6 plus another negative 1 is negative 7y. Now I'm going to subtract 22. going to divide by -7, and I'm halfway done. Only halfway, all that work for just being halfway done. Now I box what's by itself, or I just figured that out. Go back to the parentheses. Everybody look at the parentheses, where we started. Where did I start? Where did I start? Look at where I started. That's where it's going. So x is equal to -3 times 3, because that's my y, plus 11. -9 plus 11, 2. X is equal to 2, 3. Okay, solve the system of equations with substitution. Step 1, I'm going to put a parenthesis around the variable that's by itself, which is my y. Y is x minus 6. Now my eyes are going, where is the other y? I see the other y on top. I put an arrow. That's where it's going to substitute in. I rewrite it. 2x plus 3 times y. But y got a substitute, so it's gone now. This is the y. Now that's this part is usually the hardest step. This is pretty natural for 8th graders to start solving through. 2x plus 3x minus 18 equals -13. Distributing. Now I'm going to combine like terms. 2x and 3x is 5x minus 18 equals -13. Now I'm going to add 18. -13 plus 18 is 5. Divide by 5, x is 1. I'm halfway done. Remember, a solution to a system is a point of intersection. So I need an x and a y. Now what do I do with the x? I go back to where I started. So my eyes are looking at the parentheses I made at first. That's where my eyes are going. I'm looking at it, and I put my arrow there. Y is equal to 1 minus 6, because that's x. But x now has its own substitute, -5. So these two lines intersect at the point 1, -5. Okay, last one that we're going to do together. Okay, I'm going to solve this next system using substitution. I'm putting parentheses around what's by itself. That's my x. I'm looking at my other x on the opposite equation. I usually stare at it for a second. I know it's weird, but that helps me understand where I'm going to put this. So I see that other x, I'm looking, I'm like, I'm going to substitute you in, and I put an arrow to it. That's where all of this is going. All of this is going where my arrow goes. So I rewrite it. 3 times x, but x is an x. We got to substitute. X is 3y minus 10. Plus 2y is 3. Now notice I put parentheses there. I did that because I see there's a number out front. That tells me I'm going to have to distribute. 9y minus 30 plus 2y equals 3. Combine like terms. 11y minus 30 equals 3. 9 plus 2 is 11. Add 30. 11y equals 33. Divide by 11. Y is 3. Halfway there. Box this over and you get 3 times 3 minus 10. 9 minus 10, -1.